In recent years, Mitch Marner has established himself as one of the cornerstones of the Toronto Maple Leafs and one of the NHL's best players. His talent, agility, and vision on the ice have turned him into a franchise icon, especially for a team that now seems finally ready to contend for the Stanley Cup. But what if, hypothetically, the Leafs decided to trade Marner? Let's explore this bold idea and reflect on what it could mean for both the team and the fans. Recently, there have been debates about the viability of a trade, something that seems unlikely at the moment. The Toronto Maple Leafs not only have a strict no-trade clause in Marner's contract, but also a clear commitment from management to keep the team's talent intact as the franchise chases that long-awaited championship. However, for fans of a team that has endured nearly 60 years of disappointing stories, the question remains: could there ever be a scenario where letting go of a valuable asset like Marner makes sense? Think about it. Marner was selected as the 4th overall pick in the 2015 draft and has exceeded expectations ever since. He's become a fundamental player whose contributions go far beyond statistics, especially during a season when Austin Matthews was sidelined with injuries. Now, imagine the upheaval a Marner trade would cause in the NHL landscape. Do you agree that such a move, however improbable, could be worth considering in a creative planning exercise? One of the most intriguing scenarios involves the Pittsburgh Penguins, especially with Kyle Dubas now at the helm. Picture a blockbuster trade. The Maple Leafs send Marner to Pittsburgh in exchange for Evgeny Malkin, Erik Karlsson, with part of his salary retained, Michael Bunting, and a first-round pick. This trade, which could be seen as swapping stars, would undoubtedly spark intense discussions among fans and league analysts. Why might this trade make sense? For Pittsburgh, acquiring Marner would represent a chance to rejuvenate their roster while staying competitive with Crosby and Malkin still active. The rationale is clear. The team is at a delicate point in its rebuild, even if they haven't fully embraced it with their veteran stars still in place. With financial flexibility starting in 2025 to 26, the Penguins could not only bring in Marner, but also use his youth and dynamism to help shape the franchise's future as their veterans age. For the Leafs, adding Malkin, a seasoned player who could fill multiple roles, either as a second or third-line center, would bring significant depth, particularly in critical game moments. And with young talents like Bunting joining the roster, the franchise could begin to envision a new chapter. But do you think this trade would genuinely elevate the Leafs or lead to an irreplaceable loss of talent? Additionally, the emotional perspective of such a trade cannot be ignored. Marner is more than just numbers. He's a symbol of the Maple Leafs. Trading a hometown hero for other established names always stirs mixed reactions. Undoubtedly, this deal would break the internet, but can we envision a promising future without Marner? Although this discussion may seem like mere speculation, it opens an important space to reflect on the Maple Leafs' long-term strategy and decisions. The truth is, decades of frustration become a catalyst to explore whether unconventional solutions could, in some way, create a more favorable scenario. What do you think? If you were a Leafs fan, would you take the risk and see how the team fares without Marner? In recent days, another speculation has been stirring the Toronto Maple Leafs fanbase. According to Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet, the team is considering the possibility of acquiring a new center, with Nazem Kadri, currently with the Calgary Flames, being the standout name. But what could this move mean for the Leafs' future? Currently, Toronto faces a significant challenge with its lineup due to numerous injuries and suspensions affecting its forward group. With 7 players unavailable, including stars like Austin Matthews and Ryan Reeves, the team has been forced to call up talent from the AHL to fill the gaps. This situation is concerning, and a significant addition to the roster could be key to improving the team's performance. On the Real Kuiper and Bourne show, former general manager Doug MacLean made his opinion clear. If Toronto really wants to compete in the playoffs, Kadri is the guy they need. He argues that success against teams like the Florida Panthers and New Jersey Devils could hinge on Kadri's presence in a decisive series. Would the return of this fan favorite truly bring that advantage? Kadri, who spent 10 seasons with the Leafs and won the Stanley Cup in 2022 with the Avalanche, is remembered not just for his scoring ability, but also for his grit and resilience in high-pressure moments. Despite his controversial past, including several suspensions during his time in Toronto, many fans still see him as a player who could add value to the team. How do you feel about the possibility of Kadri's return? Would it be a strong addition or a poor decision considering his history? His current contract, which has 4 years remaining and a significant cap hit, presents a considerable challenge for the Leafs. The team would need to be creative in terms of financial maneuvering to acquire a player with a $7 million annual salary. Additionally, unresolved feelings from the 2019 trade that sent Kadri away following disappointing playoff results would be hurdles for general manager Brad Treliving to overcome. Do you think these lingering emotions could impact a potential deal? However, Kadri's response about a return to his former team was quite open during a recent podcast. I definitely wouldn't rule that out. This shows he still holds affection for the city and the team. For many fans, Kadri's return wouldn't just be a boost in talent, but also an emotional reunion. A return of a player who knows and loves the Leafs culture. If Kadri were to come back, what would the fans' reaction be? Would you like to see him back on the ice for Toronto? While there are still uncertainties, the mere fact that the Leafs are kicking tires, as Friedman put it, brings a wave of hope to the fanbase. The logic is that if a deal materializes, it could reshape the team's competitive capacity in one of the NHL's toughest divisions. However, much needs to be considered before any move is made. This raises expectations. Do you believe the Maple Leafs are ready to take this bold step that could alter the franchise's direction? The idea of Kadri's return is full of potential, but the challenges are significant. Any move must strike a balance between what is emotionally desirable and what is financially feasible. Meanwhile, the discussion continues. Is Nazem Kadri the center the Leafs truly need? Throughout this debate, we've explored some fascinating questions about the Toronto Maple Leafs' future, focusing primarily on the figures of Mitch Marner and Nazem Kadri. The idea of a trade involving Marner might seem like an exercise in imagination, but it also invites reflection on the complexities and nuances the franchise faces in its relentless quest for success in the NHL. Similarly, Kadri's potential return stirs a mix of nostalgia and hope, sparking heated discussions among fans about what it takes for the Leafs to achieve the elusive Stanley Cup. Now it's your turn. What do you think about these possibilities? Do you believe keeping Marner is the wisest decision, or do you see value in exploring a trade? And what about the idea of bringing Kadri back? Would that be a strategic move or an impulsive one? We're always eager to hear your thoughts. If this video or article inspired you, subscribe to our channel and activate notifications so you don't miss our upcoming content. Your participation is essential as we build a passionate community for hockey and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Leave your comment below, and let's debate.